from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Widespread rain has pulled east of us tonight, but this is not the last of it that we will see this weekend.
Dangerous dragsters. Defender cameras go undercover to catch the action happening in neighborhoods and putting lives at risk.
And a deadly shooting in broad daylight. Video captures the moment the gunman pulls the trigger.
But we begin right now with breaking news on Detroit's west side. You're looking live at an active scene right now where police have been involved in a shooting.
The officers responded to reports of shots being fired at a Coney Island near Granville and Joy. And while searching the area, they encountered a man matching the description of the suspect walking down the street. So moments ago, the assistant chief explained what happened next.
Pulled out his weapon. The officers asked him to drop his weapon. He kept approaching the officers, pulled out his gun. It appears in a fanning motion back and forth because there were several officers out here. He refused to drop the weapon, and so the officers fired several shots, striking the individual.
In fact, the man was shot 5 times, we're told, and is now in critical condition. Police say he's a man in his 50s, that his weapon was a revolver. The officers involved are being questioned as well. As you see, the scene remains very active and under investigation at this hour. We'll stay there with our crew as well. Any new information will come in this newscast and on clickondetroit.com, and certainly tomorrow morning.
Also tonight, breaking news in Dearborn where a car crashes into a pole after hitting a pedestrian, and the driver of that car has died.
It appears the pedestrian is going to be okay. This accident happened on Greenfield near Ford Road in Dearborn.
Priya Mann is there live, and police are saying that pedestrian is lucky to be alive. Priya.
That's right, Kimberly. Witnesses told police that that driver was speeding. Now, Dearborn police say the driver first hit a pedestrian, then crashed into that telephone pole where you can still see that there are investigators on scene. People inside this restaurant heard the crash across the street.
It was just a big boom when we looked, and then we seen the car like that, and we all rushed over there, ran over there.
The car finally came to a stop after hitting a telephone pole. Inside, an injured teen boy and a young male driver clinging to life. Witnesses say they tried to keep the driver conscious.
Try to stay awake. Try to stay awake. Please stay awake. Keep your eyes open. Try to talk to me. Try to talk. He couldn't speak. His eyes were rolling in the back of his head, and there was no pulse.
They realized the man could not be saved and started talking to the teen boy.
Stay calm. Stay calm. You know, they're on their way to help you. You know, we're gonna make sure you're okay. We're gonna get you safe. Just stay calm. We're gonna get you out of here. He was scared. He was crying. He had blood all over his face from the impact of the airbag.
Dearborn police say the driver first hit a female pedestrian.
I was traveling eastbound on Paul. What we're hearing is at a high rate of speed, struck a pedestrian who was walking the area of Winthrop and Paul on the south side.
After hitting her, the car traveled a short distance and stopped at Greenfield and Paul. The woman is expected to survive.
It's a vehicle versus a pedestrian. If speed was a factor, it definitely shows that luck was on her side.
This waitress says she can't forget what she witnessed tonight.
Whether it was his fault or not, but for him to lose his life, that was so sad.
And to give you a sense of just how powerful that crash was, the engine of the vehicle was literally ripped right out, and it ended up on Greenfield Road. Now, Dearborn police are still working to determine the cause of this collision. That young teen passenger and female pedestrian both expected to survive. Reporting live from Dearborn, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya. Well, he was just sitting in his car when a man walked up to his window and killed him in cold blood. And this video shows the shooting. This happened outside a popular restaurant at the corner of Franklin and Joseph Campo near Shane Park. Jason Colthorpe live now with the investigation and what we've learned so far about this shooter. Jason.
And Devin, normally this corner is a lot busier outside, they say, this popular Detroit restaurant, and it was the surveillance video on the outside of its wall here that was pointed right here on Franklin Street and saw a white Mercedes with a man standing there talking to it right before the shooting happened. Now Detroit police going frame by frame through that video, looking for leads to find out who's behind what appears to be a targeted murder. Not just a killing, but an execution on Franklin Street just outside a trendy Detroit restaurant near the river. Notice the red tape hiding the license plate on this older model black Dodge Charger.
You know, it is suspicious on that, but right now, as you know, everything is preliminary at this point.
Police now searching for that car and the man who jumps out and fires at least 13 shots, killing the driver.
This is a very, very nice neighborhood. The residents are very cooperative, and we have all of our establishments here, and we really want people to reach out. This is a very unfortunate situation here, and we want to correct the problem.
But what about the other man in the video? We're told he is the victim's cousin. He runs off without getting shot. Police tell me he was questioned, but not taken into custody. This was the man behind the wheel, according to his friends and family, who were devastated as they arrived at the scene.
Very nice young man. He went to high school with my son. They were best friends. That's all I can tell you. I don't know what, why. He's like my son.
His friends say he was 30 years old and recently married. He's survived by his wife and their 2 young children.
It's just too close to home. It's unbelievable. Where does it stop at?
The victim, friends tell me, out here on the scene today was just about 3 days away from reporting to serve a prison sentence. They didn't say for how long or for what it was for or if it might be related to this shooting. But police need people's help. They're asking you to call 1-800-SPEAK-UP if you know anything about this shocking killing in broad daylight. We're live on the east side. Jason Coulthard, Local 4.
All right, Jason. An investigation is underway after a dramatic crash involving a driver and an Ypsilanti police officer. Surveillance video shows a car turning left at Michigan and Washington, and at that very moment, an officer responding to a robbery call goes through the intersection and slams into that car. In this video, it does not appear that the officer's flashing lights are on. The officer and driver were hurt, but they are expected to be okay. All right, we'll get you pumpkin spice latte, whatever you'd like to drink, your cider, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have a little taste of fall, Ben says.
Flip-flops and lemonade till, no, I'm not ready. But Ben's bringing in some rain and cooler temperatures.
Yeah, whatever drink you want to pile on some whipped cream and sprinkles and just call it a day. But I'll tell you, it is just a dramatic switch from earlier this week. We're in the 50s right now, and we're still not to overnight lows. Those are going to end up in the 40s before we're said and done. Here's what we're looking at for high temperatures over the weekend. Saturday, probably not as nice as Sunday. It's going to be slightly warmer as we finish the weekend. Few light showers tomorrow and a lot more sunshine as we wrap things up on Sunday. But the 80s, not far away. We'll check those out in the 7-day forecast coming your way in a few minutes, guys.
All right, Ben. Well, America, of course, today marked the 14th anniversary of 9/11. Oakland County, in fact, dedicated a new memorial with artifacts from the 3 attack sites.
The Michigan Fallen Heroes Memorial in Pontiac pays tribute to the police and fire communities who served throughout Michigan. First responders who worked at Ground Zero helped unveil the new memorial, and 5 more names of fallen heroes were added to the memorial wall. One of the names is MSP Trooper Chad Wolf, who was hit and killed on I-75 a couple of weeks ago. His family attended the ceremony and traced his name onto a piece of paper.
And now let's take a look at live pictures tonight out of New York City, where the skies are lit up in honor of those who lost their lives on 9/11. The 2 beacons of light where the World Trade Center towers once stood. You can just make them out there reaching up into the sky. In fact, we're told they can be seen tonight from 60 miles away. Well, on the heels of a presidential visit, Vice President Joe Biden is going to make a stop in our area. He'll be in Detroit on Thursday of next week to talk about the economy. Of course, his name has been floating around as a possible presidential candidate for 2016, but Biden says so far he has yet to make a final decision.
Well, 1 week from today, white boy Rick hoped he would be released from prison, but that dream is now on hold. The Court of Appeals has ordered a stay on Rick Wershe's resentencing hearing, which was scheduled for next Friday. It gives both sides more time to argue why he should or shouldn't be resentenced. Wershe was 17 when he was sentenced to life in prison on drug charges. He has served 28 years. It's the arrest that caused an uproar nationwide.
Yeah, boy, the case of mistaken identity that had an officer roughing up a former tennis star, and now we're seeing the video of exactly what went down.
Plus, more than 100 people killed in a crane collapse, and that number keeps growing. what caused it to topple.
And when he hit my car went into a figure 8.
I'm Local 4 Defender Karen Drew. Coming up next, our undercover cameras catch all the action, and I'll tell you about a new idea Detroit police are considering that will have some pretty surprised.
All right, Karen, and we remain on the scene of breaking news on Detroit's west side. A very active investigation still underway after a police-involved shooting. Investigators say a man in his 50s was shot after refusing to drop his revolver, and he right now is in critical condition. We will keep you advised. How can this be happening? Drag racing on neighborhood streets.
That's dangerous.
Defender cameras catch the action and talk to victims.
My car got hit.
And let you know about a new way police may solve this dangerous problem. Well, with all of the progress we've been talking about and reporting on in the city of Detroit, there's some residents who say more needs to be done in the neighborhoods where drag racing continues to be a problem.
Yeah, so what's really going on here? Our Defender team went out in the middle of the night to find out. Karen Drew has this hidden camera investigation.
This started with a tip from one local mom. She reached out to us after she says she got hit by a drag racer. Her car was totaled and is frustrated police are doing more. That's when we decided to hit the streets ourselves.
It's a Friday just before midnight on Epworth and Linsdale on the city's west side. And this is the scene. Drag racing down a neighborhood street. Tires squealing, onlookers standing feet away from the speeding vehicles.
That's dangerous. They shouldn't be doing that, period. Not only are they putting their lives at risk, but they're putting their other people's lives at risk.
Seems everyone in the area has seen the racing one time or another.
Yeah, a couple of times. They just doing it for the thrill. They either think they're invincible or they just don't care about the danger, so they go ahead and do it.
It was like 150 cars, trucks, three-wheelers, motorcycles, everything. And
this summer, Janice Leonard says she was headed out to get gas when she decided to drive down Epworth. That was a big mistake.
And when he pulled out, he hit my car. And when he hit my car went into a figure 8. And then it went into a circle. Then the airbag to the passenger side went off, and the airbag to the driver's side went off.
This is her car now.
My car is down. I don't have no car no more. I can't get around. I have a daughter. She needs transportation also.
So now this mom has to take the bus with her 1-year-old.
It's gonna cost over $6,000 to get it fixed, and I don't have that type of money. It's time that it needs to stop.
She's frustrated police aren't doing more to protect people like her.
The policeman said that, yeah, we know about Epworth. They drive down here all the time racing. Ain't nothing we can do about it because this is the main street.
The Defenders contacted the Detroit Police Department about her concerns.
Drag racing is not a new phenomenon. We have been dealing with drag racing for years.
The deputy chief says combating drag racing is a multi-jurisdictional effort with DPD, MSP, and Wayne County.
Year to date, we've taken about 25 vehicles, impounding those spectators who are watching the drag racing. We've also forfeited 4 vehicles for individuals who were drag racing.
But DPD is working on a new way to combat the drag racers.
The chief has an idea that he thinks will curtail this effort, and that is to create some sanctioned drag racing strips. He looks at it as that this is a sport, that if we create areas within the city that they could legally drag race, that we could pad it and put the necessary protectors in place, that we would save lives.
Potential sites for the sanctioned drag racing: open land near the city airport or the old Chrysler plant on Lynch Road.
We would think that if we encouraged safety, that we would do away with the illegal drag racing and people would do it for sport.
That idea is still in the infancy stage, but is a real possibility. Meantime, for Detroiters like Janice Leonard, short term, she wants more cops on the streets, more arrests, so another mom like her isn't the next victim. Karen Drew, Local 4 Defenders.
I think a lot of these kids see these movies like the Fast and the Furious, video games, and they go out and try to.
That's a great point. And if somebody wants to crash their car, I guess I don't care, but this doesn't happen in a vacuum.
I know.
So many other people involved.
Around, yeah. All right, well, here's what Hank Winchester is working on for Monday night.
It was the racist rant caught on tape on board a Bloomfield Hills school bus that made headlines across the country.
Did you get those glasses from the convention?
After the defenders broke the story, there were protests, criminal investigations, and the target of the bullying, Phoenix Williams, decided to continue his education at home.
I don't know for sure if this will ever happen to me again. It might not, but what I do know is that I know how to deal with this now.
How is Phoenix today, and what happened to those boys who uttered those hateful words?
These other children are children. They need to learn and to be disciplined, but not vilified.
The Defender Special Report Monday at 11.
We have 10 more days of summer. I just was checking the calendar. It's right.
Yes, 23rd of September.
So what gives?
Well, this is just a temporary little blip.
Okie doke.
We'll be back to some more summer weather in the middle of next week. But it has been a switch.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in the 90s on Monday and Tuesday.
Jeez.
Here was today's high at 68, which is about 8 degrees below average there on the high side. Pretty close to the mark there in the morning. The clouds actually kept those temperatures a little bit elevated for that start at 60 degrees. Now, as we get into the next couple days, we will obviously start to see those temperatures rise just a little bit. Here's some of the storm pins that we picked up today, and a lot of dark clouds. This was up in Port Huron before those showers really started to get going. Then the rain came in. And after the rain, we got the rainbow that was out there. A lot of cool pictures of those. If you haven't downloaded Storm Pins, go to your favorite app store and do that. It's absolutely free. Just search WDIV. 60 right now. We are getting reports of some light rain at the airport. A little bit of a north wind at 7, but generally most of us are on the dry side. Look at that pocket of 40s up there in the UP. It's 42 right now in Marquette. See the 50s extending down to Alpena, and even though Detroit's at 60, I showed you at the top of the show, most of the suburbs in the 50s right now, and we will fall to the 40s for lows tonight. Here's a look now at the clouds and radar. This is that large area of rain that was getting at least about the eastern half of the area wet earlier today. That's pulled further east, and you can see we've just seen a couple of those little light showers redevelop there in Wayne County towards the airport. A little more of a strip back here in central Michigan, but these are going to generally dry out overnight. Over the early parts of tomorrow, we'll start to see a few sprinkles come in from the north. So if you're north of 59, especially north of 69, likely you'll see a couple raindrops spreading into some more very light showers as we go into the afternoon. Should not affect either the big football games, either at the Big House or in Lansing tomorrow. And then we'll dry out on Saturday night, and that leads to a slightly nicer Sunday as we get in to finish the weekend. 50 degrees tonight, and again, that's a city low, so we will see a lot of 40s for low temperatures tonight. 63 tomorrow, just a couple sprinkles around, and a little bit of an improvement Sunday, much more of an improvement by the middle of next week, both in the morning and in the afternoon. At least 2 days 80s there with plenty of sunshine.
All is well.
That's
all coming back. All right. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks,
Sure.
Ben.
Busted going double the speed limit. The surprising excuse that this man had for driving nearly 100